Yeah, well, there we are, Gerard. There we are. That's what I say. You got to watch this thing. Remember, I went this morning, just let these guys in, finally in, when I said the CPI is now, it's taken on bigger importance than the actual non-farm payrolls. Remember, I made a statement about that, and now you can see why. And look at the difference. If you looked at your economic calendar, I'll just put mine up as we speak. Shouldn't have started now, still 3 weeks to go. But anyway, yeah, it was 0.2 compared to 0.3 on the month-on-month, on the year-on-year, 7.1 compared to 7.3, and the CPI on the month-on-month, which should not the core, the entire one, 0.3. So the difference was there, but the point is it wasn't massive. But the jitteriness, the skittishness out there, the skittishness out there means this incredible big reaction because of this debt, because this worry interest rates, because this worry recession, anything like that is going to be hung on to. And hence that was good for the share market because it looks like some of the inflation is coming down and they might start putting some brakes interest rate because it's bad for the man in the street who's in debt to pay the extra interest rate in their car, clothes, durables, house or whatever. And it's bad for the business because now they're backing to sell products because they can't afford, the guy that's buying it can't afford the interest or it's too much. So both sides of the coin don't like higher interest rates. Clearly, that's why when COVID came about, they brought it down so much to had to inflate the economy, get people back to work, etc. But that inflating the economy, unfortunately, goes back to the word debt. Our entire world economy now is not built like 80, 90 years ago or 100 years ago or whatever it was, don't quote me exactly, where you saw some you saved and then you had the cash, you bought it. No, you get it now and you buy debt. Everything has been assimilated into that action. Ask yourselves, guys out there, if I wave a magic wand and say you're about to be ITC, you've got no access to credit, you'd go into a fat panic. You get my point. We live and react on our debt. And that's why it's so skittish at the moment on it. That's why I said be very, very careful, get your position sizes right. Play that one. If some guys played it on the buy stop, sell stop before opening, they would have done very well indeed. I don't know if you had a good at Anne-Marie, but if you did, you should have done okay by it. But there you are. Well, I don't know why you did that, because once you're in profit, just modify the stop till you're knocked out. But anyway, you made a profit. At least, never mind, I take that back. First time you're doing it, of course you're cautious. It's a natural human reaction. So why get me clever, done it before, saying you shouldn't the first time? Well, of course, you did it, you had the nerve to do it, and clearly it worked out for you. So well bloody done.
Hi, Roger.
Yeah.
Sorry to the question.
Yeah.
Why was it such a big influence on the yen that we got the stop losses on all the others?
Yeah. That's why I say it affects it all. And I have to be honest, I was just hoping you wouldn't ask that question. But since you have, I'm going to do my best to answer it, but I'm not sure many facts I'm coming out with. I'm coming back with probably more factual because it's emotion on it, is the fact that it's a worldwide effort. Now, it seems to me that the Canadian, maybe I shouldn't have maybe sent that trade out this morning, the Canadian, because the Canadian, although it's a separate economy, seems to be very much influenced by its big brother, its big neighbor. And so if to do with the US, why should it suddenly have that impact on the Canadian, if you like, in the same way as the yen or vice versa? So all I can say is on that is it doesn't make a lot of sense, I agree, But remember, this global village now, where all economies are intermingled. South Africa might produce some good, let's say, good products for argument's sake, but it's no bloody good in doing that if they haven't got a market to sell to. And the American market is the number one huge market that people need to sell to. So it will affect other things like Japanese, or look, the cat came off. Why should it come off? Well, in theory, it should have gone up. Hang on, that's right. It should have gone the right way around to confuse my bloody self here. That's right. It came down with the dollar, like I mentioned. So because it came down with the dollar, it helped the yen up. Now, the yen should, in theory, have suffered as well because they want to export goods to the States. However, that is a good thing because if they're not going to put up the interest rates to make Japanese goods cheaper there, that's a good deal. So it's slightly positive for the yen. And my opinion, just because it's a small neighbor and it seems to hang on the coattails of the States, Canada, it went sort of down with them on the currency in sympathy. So the Canadian went down with the American, and the Japanese said, that means slightly lower interest rates, maybe they'll buy our products. That's the theory, it's a slight strength in the yen. And you can probably apply that across the board. I mean, there's another one we looked at which did quite well. One, I think it was Euro NZD. Let's have a look at it now. Euro NZD. Which way do we have that one? This is on the sell. Yeah, the Euro NZD. So it looks like the euro came down in favor with the, because that's another major economy which heavily relies on the States for exports as well. I know within themselves, but still. So that came down with it, and New Zealand, a long way away, was mainly sort of the innocent party, other side of the seesaw. You get what I'm saying? So the dollar knock-on effect, Canada and Europe, bang, that went down, and you'll find results. The shares themselves have gone up. I haven't seen the European ones, but you probably see whether you're short in American shares. Shame. When it opens up in 25 minutes' time, I'm afraid to say if you short them, they're going to bounce. Okay, get my point. And US dollar, if you're short, you'll be doing fine. If you're long, it'll be showing you flames. Yeah, for the reason I get. But that's easy, that, because it's a dollar. See, that's not a problem. It will do, like I explained, because that's a dollar. What Fanu's after, what the hell's the Japanese yen got to do with it? And I was trying to sort of explain my way out of it, how it has a knock-on effect as the global village system, globalization, all the way through the different effects it has. I mean, a lower interest rate will benefit Japan. A weak on the American, well, clearly I wouldn't be too aware of it because it happened last CPI. The Canadian went down in sympathy with it. So that's just a bit of experience right in the last time. And the same with the euro. So yeah, so they flew off on one and some of the others went up. So one of the trades did all right. The other ones obviously didn't do so well. Hence, you have to stop loss just in case. But then again, it could have been the other way. What if it been 0.1% above? Exact opposite would have happened. And we'd have a bunch of smiling face. Just depends which way it goes. Well, there's not much you can do about it, but so you can be afraid as much as you like. I'm sorry, Howard, not much you can do about it. It'll open up almost certainly. It all will.
Okay, but I was thinking the moment they open, then maybe just close as much as possible of the shorts, because I mean, not only for Meta, but for a couple of them. Baba, for example.
Yeah. Well, I guess not
Microsoft, etc.
Yeah, not as easy as that. They could jump up and open. You can immediately close it. And after all the guys have got out of it, the knee-jerk reaction, it comes back off again. Remember, there's no such thing as a no-brainer. You could try that, but I think it's going to jump up. Now you've got to see, is it going to come back again from profit taking, or the guys have exited, or is it going to slow down and go back up? That might be a time to close it, if you get where I'm coming from.
Agree, Roger, but my point is with the stop losses that I have adjusted, I think it's in any case going to hit it.
Well, the stop loss is actually irrelevant to the market opens. Let's take Microsoft as an example. Where's Microsoft? There is it. Microsoft. Let's say your stop is here. What's that? 251. Well, that's where the price. That's not right. That's better. Make sure I've got the right figures on there. Update, yeah. Let's say your stop loss at 254, right? If that market opens up at 256, that stop loss is irrelevant at 254. Are you with me? I tried to explain that this morning. I want you guys to understand this. The stop loss is a buy or sell order. If there's no buyers or sellers around at that price, you'll be in. So let's say it opens up here, then either that will be triggered or you've got to or exit yourself, because any stop there is irrelevant. It opens up there. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's all about buyers and sellers. You know, it's no guaranteed I'm going to put my house up for sale for R1 million. No, there might be takers. The only guys that are takers are offering me 900. So I've got to accept that or forget it. You get the idea. It's about buyers and sellers. You with me?
Yes, I agree with you. So that's why I'm saying maybe the best way to go is just to close as much as possible for of the
I
open
can't
trades.
make that call. I can't make the call. I don't know. I don't know the size of your action. I'm pretty damn sure it'll open up. I don't see why it shouldn't. And the NAS is up. Why wouldn't it? So clearly it's going to open up. Whether it opens up and then settles, come back or whatever, I cannot make that call. Nobody can. So it's up to the individual to say, shall I get out and take the pain, or shall I hang on, take a bit more pain in case it comes off? That's the individual choice. But I just want to, you're on the ball on that, but a lot of guys don't get that. And they think, well, hang on a minute, I haven't stopped at 253. Why are they getting out 255? Because there's no buyers and sellers there. You know what I'm saying? And the guys in trading room start to get that. But guys out there don't attend, don't understand that. I think there's some sort of guarantee out clause, which during the day on open, liquidity is there, not a problem. But any bomb going off, a massive fundamental, or the markets close and opens again, anything can happen. That's why a lot of guys square their books on Friday night in case big positions, not small ones, big boys. I mean, really big positions. I'll keep some, obviously, but some of the very, very big ones, they might square off because they know what's going to happen over the weekend. You know, they were short it and they're coming down nicely and they leave it. Something goes on the weekend, it opens up here. Forget the stock. It has to open, you have to have an open market for buyers and sellers to take it on. Because remember, when you put a stop loss in, if it's a sell order, you're saying buy it off me. If it's a buy order, I'm selling it to somebody, whether you're going long or short. And that concept has to be understood. Okay. And that's the problem. I think a lot of guys playing in this game don't understand that concept. Well, hopefully you do now. Okay. Now I want to go back to calculate them before the trades given. Will it
Sorry, Roger, just the last thing. With our discussions, maybe if you look at the S&P 500 and you go on the 10-minute or 15-minute frame, that will prove exactly what you have discussed now where it jumped up to.
Yeah.
You see?
Thank you. Yes, exactly. Thank you for that. Thanks for your help. That's exactly it. Sitting around there quite comfortably, and it was open. Here's a good point. I'm so pleased you picked that because I didn't think of that. That's exactly the example. Spot on, 100% finally. Thank you. You're getting this. Brilliant. I'm so pleased because guys are trading still not getting this. They've been doing it for a while. Absolutely. This is not closed on the weekend or a share's opening up on +4. This is actually open. But that jump was so extreme on the CPI reaction, it closed a 5 and jumped there. So if your stop loss was there on a short, forget it. You could only get out there. Absolutely. And that was open. Thank you. Hope you've all got that, guys. I'm not saying to be frightened. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is not increasing fear. Anne-Marie, I think I'm going to bring in Marie. I think you did a brilliant job there. You took the nerve. You had the nerve to do it. And then you had the admission. You're a bit nervous afterwards. That means you're strong. You're strong. Because most people won't admit that. Oh, no. This, in fact, admit it means you're learning. Now, that knowledge is power. So next time you'll realize that, learn from it. If you hadn't learned from that, then you can't make progress going forward. As one guy said to me years ago, you get one guy with 12 years experience, but they've had 12 times 1 year experience. Not very well put. So you can have a year experience or you can have 1 year's experience 12 times. In other words, they haven't learned beyond that 1 year because they keep going into what's called denial or justifying, and quite frankly, often aggressively justifying when somebody points something out that's not quite correct. And that's why everyone says, tell the truth. Often that can come back and bite big time because a lot of people do not want to hear it. They want to hear what's fixated, what they want in their own brain. So at least now, someone I'm saying there, only been trading a short time, had the nerve to have a go, did well and admitted and understood, could have squeezed more out of it, but the nerves kicked in. And it is nerve-wracking when you first do it. Absolutely. That's why I say you just pass your driving test. You're not going to study driving at 180, are you? No, you build up that experience. Absolutely. Now, I want to go on to Gerard. Well, listen, I mean, that the mile cover that before the straight given. I want to come back to that because I mentioned a couple of times, and to be honest, I don't know 100% on it, so I'm winging a little bit here. I'm saying that most of what has been done takes a lot of work going into Powell coming out at 9 o'clock our time tomorrow. So we've done a lot of groundwork. We'll leave its area open to see adjustment of areas, what we call the beige book, remember, which is PPI, GDP, CPI. And I'm certain he kept it open on the CPI release to actually update his thinking of what he's going to be doing tomorrow. He's got still 24 hours to go, if you see what I mean. So in that way, I'm saying that will almost certainly factor into his calculations, because believe you me, he would like to give no increase, but he can't. He wants to be responsible. He's opened his mouth and said just that. He says, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm apolitical. I'm going to do what I feel I've been paid to do and be responsible. He doesn't want to spook the market, which he would by doing 25 basis points, but he'd prefer to do 25 or 0 to 1% if you get it. So he's got to see the facts arraigned before him. And he would prefer to see a 50 rather than a 75. Of course he would, because it means his policies are starting to work and bringing down inflation, which he's been quite open about and trying to achieve. So when that little bit of a movement on the CPI was better or lower than expected, now there's less inflation than expected, that's why you get this enormous bounce saying, aha, looks like it's only going to be half, and take that into account, that's the likelihood. And I'm going to go along with that. I'm almost certain it's going to be half, not 75 now. That CPI figure is indicated. Bang goes down the dollar and bang up goes the market. If it come out slightly above, the opposite would have occurred. The index is now 103.77. Before it was just under 105. You've been looking at about 107 the other way around. And yeah, the CAD JPR have taken off. The Euro EUR NZD was a sell, being the other way around. So you've been stopped out the Euro NZD, and you've been lasting on the Euro JPY, the CAD JPY, but it happened to be the other way around. That's why the stop loss, we took the way around it, etc. As I say, I do quite like the buy stop, sell stop button below the market in these sort of situations, but I'm hesitant to push it because guys go and do it without fully understanding, and they come back and blame me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking doing about it because I'm qualified and I've got recourse, but I don't like it from a human perspective because guys have jumped in trying to make a quick buck without understanding fully what they're going into. I've had a feeling, Anna Marie, a little bit I've seen on the interacting on the live chat, that you get to know somebody even though you haven't really spoken to them too much. And I get the she sounds like a sensible person. That's my read. So I said, go for it. Like Mark, he might join us later, usually dropping off his kid. Same story. Another guy, you just feel, hang on a minute, they're not quite sure what vehicle on, but they want to make a quick buck. I pull back a bit from that because I don't think they fully appreciate or grasp. It's not quite as straightforward as that. It's a little bit more, you know, thinking involved, if you see what I'm trying to say. Hope that's all clear. Okay, now let's move on to a few. I want to explain that fully. I'm sorry I do go on because any half stuff would be misinterpreted. I've had that too much as well. It would do. The dollar would show you flames. I mean, obviously. It's not half fast yet. Another 15 minutes to go. What a huge drop. Yeah, well, we know that. We've discussed the CPI. Maybe it's the first time you're seeing it. And it may be a bit of a wow, but we saw it last time, and I've seen it many times as well. Non-farms have seen bigger moves in the past. I was very positive, negative, long. Yeah, we know the reason why. I've discussed it another time. Gold, in which somebody selling with limited point. I'd let the dust settle. I'll let the dust settle before we get too cute. Clear the same sort of position. Remember, a weak dollar, strong gold. So there we are, long gold. Remember I said don't touch gold or anything like that, because the likelihood of a big move either way, we don't know which way it's going to go. As it turned out, it went screaming up. So what we're going to do on the 5-minute chart, let's go slightly longer term, 15 minutes. What we're going to do now is, let's just go to daily. We might get a bit of technicals kicking in. Is there any technicals on this? There's no real technicals there. 1820 is a bit, yeah, it's a little bit, but it's done a bit of technical damage breaking through the 50-day. It could go up a little bit further, but I would say it'd probably settle around here. There'll be some profit-taking pullbacks, be some late comers in, FOMO, you know, fear of missing out. A lot of retail traders, less, shall we say, sophisticated in their trading, might start jumping in. A big enough amount of them to count now in volumes, might push it up a bit. My honest to goodness advice would be sit on the sidelines, wait for the dust to settle. I did mention this week, we've got the CPI, we've got the interest rate tomorrow, probably something else on Friday. It's going to be a minefield on this at the moment, so just be aware of that, okay? But in a way, thanks for pointing out, Fani, you're seeing it in action now. So I'm not trying to put, say don't do it because I'm sitting, I'm boring or whatever, and say be careful and go on and on and on about it. Now I can see in action why these things happen. You understand? Because I've been going on it quite a bit this morning. I said CPI, start right. What I was going to say, that is coming out 3:30, and it's extremely important, more than the non-farms. And again, guys who don't come to the training have no idea any of this. All they think is I'm going to make a buck and they're moving up and down, I'll take a chance. And then they wonder why that happened. You know, at least you're learning reasons behind it. So you can make not just a parafashion decision on a signal, you can look into it and make an informed one. You're slowly getting the idea where you can fish or fly solo more on your own. Right, you always have moral support. I come here for moral support as well as hosting it. But at least you have some idea. If I say, let's have a look at the GBP USD as a buy or sell, you'll be able to question that without just jumping into it. And that's what we want to get to, if you see what I mean. Okay. Right, it's been all go. I mean, soon to come past, I had to cut off the live chat. Sorry if any guys are on it. About half a dozen came through, and I just shouted it. So to get an insensory overload. So I had to lock it off. Some guys had freezing on the accounts and got older pay. So it's been since 3:30 till now. This is one of my quieter moments, if you see what I mean. It's seriously been all go. Because you hear it in theory, you talk about it, until it happens in your face, you don't really believe it. And then when it does, oh my goodness, to see what you mean. That's why I say the practical is so much more important than spending too much on the theory. Because you can stand up with no emotion involved in your demo account or in a classroom. No, and it's all great fun, we'll relax. When it starts hitting like this, then you realize what the heck's actually going on. So this is a classic example of what I was mentioning this morning, what to watch out for, what Anne-Marie did, and I know Mark did, maybe a couple of others did, and profit out of it. Have the stop loss, get your position size, and be careful of those damn fundamentals because they do have an amazing effect. Okay, right. Hope that's all clear now. Let's move on.
Thanks, Roger.
Pleasure, and thank you. Finally, I'm encouraging you to do what you do because it's much easier, because you obviously have some idea what's going on, to interact verbally. It makes it a lot easier. So not bothering, far from it, you're adding a lot of value, not just to myself and yourself, but the other guys there, because not everyone's got the confidence to ask those questions. And sometimes some of them are pretty bang on. That one, the S&P, what a perfect example. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for tolerating my voice, but my spelling is worse than my voice. That I can promise you.
Why? What's wrong with your voice? Have you got a cold or something?
No. My voice is all right, but my spelling is horrible.
Oh, your spelling? Okay. Well, English is different to French. French, it doesn't matter what you're trying to say as long as it sounds nice. In English, English, it's all about getting your point across. Even if you say it well, badly, grammatically incorrect, as long as you understand what you're saying. In French, I know I did French in school, and the French guy says, as long as you say it right with the right accent, speak French well, it doesn't matter. If you speak atrocious French, even if you're solving the problem with the wheel, it's no good. And one thing I have to say before now we settle down a bit, Afrikaans. One of our BDE guys said, sorry, he said, I'm not so good in English. Well, occasionally when you find Afrikaners who's not very good in English, it means he only speaks it fluently. If he says he's pretty good in English, it means he speaks it far better. I hate to say this, embarrassed to say it, better than most native English speakers. And if you don't believe me, go to the UK, go to Scotland, go to Northern Ireland, go to Wales, go to the north of England, somewhere around there. I promise you'll have to take an interpreter because the dialect is so powerful. I was watching a few programs on BritBox, and I thought, we should have subtitles. I don't have a clue what to talk about. It's my native language. So don't worry about the English side of it. Please believe me, and I mean that honestly. Kazi is concentrating too much at the moment on technicals. The technicals do count. That's why we teach it for what we call trading days. On trending days, technicals don't. They do. I've seen bounce off Fibonacci's and very powerful resistance. They do, yes. But individual trying to make sense out of a major fundamental effect on the market, you're grasping a little bit of straws there. Good question, but let's do that in a moment. So I hope you understand that. I'll give you, just to make sure we're all on the same understanding here. All hell is breaking loose, but that's a high, 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 that's a high. Even all hell breaking loose, there's like to be a pullback. And a very good example was when the 9/11 occurred and that aircraft went through the World Trade Center, the market plummeted down, and yet it hit a 618 fib and bounced. So even the short sellers panicking to make a quick buck on someone else's misery, I'm putting it rather cruelly but truly, I thought better get out of here now. So yeah, so basically they do work even times of fundamental stress, but that to me is not nearly powerful enough on the daily to give you an indication to sell it, buy it, or anything like that. If you're in, move your stop, you might great move up. If you stopped out, you make a profit. That's a good way of hedging your bets, if you like. But to join in now, no. Okay. Well, they also talk about the 3-day rule. I think the 3-day rule, I think that's pushing it. The world's too quick for 3 days. That's been going on for years, the 3-day rule. I personally think 1-day rule. Maybe have another look tomorrow. But I've been around a little bit long just to get an idea of the emotion set up out there. So we'll look at the situation and try and help you out there. Okay. Okay, now can we go back in again? Because I got stopped out my modified stop there, so it's not a bad question. Okay, it's come off quite a bit. Let's see what we're doing here. See a bit clearer. CB held, they actually, see that? It's not a very powerful one, but it seems to come to a bit of a halt on that one there. I think a bit of exhaustion of the dollar, and I think quite frankly, you've got to remember profit taking. I'm going to put Herard in a position here because I pronounce his name a little bit easier, so okay. Right, he's just got a very, very, very big account. He's an institutional trader, and he's got $1 billion book, and he's gone in big time with this stop, sell, stop, butterfly spread. And this is pretty good. Now he says, I think I'm going to take my profit. He's a very, very big player, institutional, enormous book player. Sorry, Herard, just promote you to be a billionaire there. What's he going to do? He's going to start closing part position, like I mentioned this morning. He might, let's say he's got, I don't know, 5,000 contracts, 5,000.0. You get the idea. 5,000 standard lots on that one. He might close 200. He might close another 200. Might close another 200. What's he doing when he's closing 200 on a short? He's buying. He's not buying to buy to go in. He's buying to exit. And that's why you're getting a little bit of bounce, because that guy will be seeing that and thinks it's about time, it's maybe a bit overdone, I'm starting to get out of it. Then it becomes self-fulfilling. Other guys will be looking at, I think I'll get out of my shorts by covering my short, get a bit of a bounce. To answer your question, incredibly aggressively risky, but I take your point. There could be some move up from here. It's going back to the fundamentals. The dollar is weak, I get that, but the ZAR is seriously got problems. So I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem to buy there, but I would go in half now, and if it comes back here, come another half. But long is the correct way, probably more prudent to wait and risk missing out. But if you can afford the aggressive risk, half in now, and then your normal position size. And if it comes back a bit further, may get the other half in there. And if it does move up, you're on board. But that's incredibly aggressive because the dust hasn't yet settled. It's only been open 55 minutes since. The American markets haven't opened yet. So if you're prepared to say, I'm do a punt for a couple $100, do it. But I certainly would advise that from a trading, proper trading principle, if you like. That's landing on a punt, etc. If you're aware of it, you know you're doing 180. Don't blame me if the cops stop you. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. And don't forget, like I just mentioned, 4 minutes time, the American markets are opening, and that might have another continued effect down. I personally wouldn't touch the bloody thing. Yeah, so go back to your question there. Well, certainly not before 4:30. I personally would wait till tomorrow. Have another look. There's no cut and dry. There's no 1 and 1 and 2 in this business. If you're an accountant, you know what I mean by this. You apply for a job interview and ask you what's 1 and 1. The answer to get the job is whatever you want it to be. That's an accountant. I don't know for certain, but I'll look at it again tomorrow and make my judgment then. But I probably wouldn't touch it now. Dollar, I mean. But we'll see. Keep an open mind. Okay, got it. Good. Right. Yeah. Where were we? 3 minutes to go. Just get some guys in there. Let's see. We had one still going stronger than the Euro NZD. It's come to the party now. Sorry, wrong one there. But as I say, that's more fundamentally driven than anything else. But that turned out all right. Okay, you're in this one. Obviously, move your stop. You're about 80, 90 pips in profit. Move your stop maybe to about 30 pips above market. You should in the trading know what I'm talking about there. Because people come back when I point that out. Because they're busy. You got to tap out the WhatsApp, go to somebody else and say, what do you mean? And it's time consuming. You know what the market price is, you know what a pip is, you know what 30 is. So you can say 30 pips above market. Right, well, market, if you're on the short, that's the exit. So you should know that. So it'll be 42. You get the idea. When it's quiet, it's no problem at all. When things are going, you've really got to be on it, as you know, as we've seen just now. You see my heart rate's gone up quite a bit as well, because it's all going, these things happen. Okay. To be fair, again, I've had a bit of practice at it, so you know what I mean. Right, so yeah, I think breakthrough 164, probably get a bit of a bounce. So protect yourself with a 30 pip above market. This price is your market because you exit on the buy, because you're on short. And then if it breaks through, we'll have a look at it again later on the session. We can get a clean breakthrough to modify again, see what happens. Okay. Right, better switch over. It's only 2 minutes to go. See what the NAS is going to do on opening. Is it going to consolidate around this level or move back down or shoot back up again? But as I say, you make your own mind on what you do with the short and the shares. You might come right in the oxy, that's so long. And always remember, and I'm in and I can make a hair because I got my position size right. I worked it out. When you haven't, that's when you're not thinking straight. I can always tell a trader when he's talking and he's over, he's jittery, very jittery. I always talk a theorist who doesn't trade when he's incredibly calm. I know that guy's a trade. You know what I'm saying? If it's stressful, that can't get rid of it. It's handling with experience, getting those damn volumes right. Okay, it's just coming up another few seconds. What's the time now? 38:40, 20 seconds to go. See what happens on opening, and then we'll have another quick look. Not sure we'll get many trades out, but I warned you on Monday, what's it, Tuesday, yesterday this is, that with all these fundamentals, and now I've proven my point, we have to be a little bit on the careful side. And the signal sent out, it's your decision whether you take it or not. No good to say, you send me a signal, it's wrong. Well, it's your decision. We do our best, I promise. I certainly do anyway. I don't like it when it goes wrong. Not for financially, just because it makes me feel like an idiot. I don't get a pat on the back, which I rather like. I'd rather get a century than a zero. What's happening? It's just coming in now. For 15 minutes, yeah. It's very, very circumspect. Look at that. Look at that opening. Anyone knows the NASDAQ? Look at that opening. Hell of a circumspect. Usually jumps all over the place. That's telling you what? Clearly emotional skittishness out there. Is it going to go more up? Is it going to go down? Are you going to attract some FOMOs in there? We're going to fear of missing out, or what's happening? This is sitting around waiting. What's going to happen? Waiting to leap. Yeah, as long as you know why. If you don't know why, somebody once said sales is a numbers game. That's a load of old rubbish. If you try and sell a Ferrari in a dirt poor area, you'll get 100% non-sales. You get my point. So it's a numbers game only if you know what you're doing, you've got a decent product, and the price is right, and you're in the right market area. And sometimes it goes wrong when it's not your fault. Now look at that. That's why it's so important to understand the emotions out there are similar to yourselves. I don't care whether Mr. George has got $1 billion and Mr. Ray has got 1 million and Mr. John has got only 1,000 or whatever. Similar emotions. You know what I'm saying? That skittishness. It looks like they're waiting to see what happens, and they're saying it's not a lot going back up again, so maybe I'll unload. You get the idea. I think some guys are starting to unload on that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Get the emotion behind it. Let's go back to these guys now. BA, not surprised he's jumped. Barber, not surprised he's jumped. A few sales come in, they might follow the NAS. Let's see. Brent's not much. Okay, fair enough. He's just doing okay. Meta, what was the other one? Meta and the other one, yeah. Meta, yeah, well, you might have been stopped out. Don't have much choice in the matter. What was our stock? I've forgotten. So much paperwork here. Meta. Yeah, Meta 125.70, I think. So you still should be in. You might get a pullback. Safari, you might want to steady the old finger there on the close. You might get a pullback. See what I mean? If you close immediately, you know, we'll see. Anyway, but it might. But look at that jump. Now, the poor guy selling short his stop there, clearly, it's irrelevant because that's when the buy and sell are coming in. And that's why we're going to get guys, oh, am I to get stopped out there or not here? Well, for the reason I just gave. But they don't know it. Don't trade if you don't know what you're doing or you haven't learned a lesson. Okay, so there we are. Done me a lot of favors. Stick with it, guys. It's changed my life. Came with this at 40, left the Merchant Navy, and navigating offshore, LD do a short, changed my life. Bad times, good times, stick it out. Freedom, enjoyment is phenomenal, but you got to learn the ropes. Okay, Microsoft, look at that. I'm looking now, we're going to be setting up here for bargains. Here we're getting here. So we're getting near the bargain area now. We're not out of the woods. That's all very fine. 0.5% increase to the 3/4. That's giving you a little bit of a cough mixture, but you still got TB, guys. You're not coughing so much now. The cough mixture has just dulled it. But a problem that the symptoms, you still got sudden TB. The economic problem out there is not gone away. So it's still short the rally, and this is going to get some bargains and the vice versa place. You know, bargains cheap. Bargains as it too expensive. You know what I mean? To start selling. And I think this is setting up for a short, actually. Might have been stopped out. You shouldn't be in Microsoft. You should have been stopped out in the profit because you should have modified, like I mentioned over the last couple of days. So you should all be out of this and all of you in the profit. If you weren't, well, you didn't take any notice. Fair enough. Hey, Mark's keen. He's driving. he's driving. He's got the phone on. Mark, you're keen, bugger. I like it. Okay. Stop talking about Mark now. He's with us. Stop, please. He's with us now. Okay. Don't talk about it anymore. Hey, great to have you, Mark. See you keen. You're driving. Okay. So yeah, as I say, you should have all been stopped out on a profit. You shouldn't be in this now. I'm thinking we can start looking. Maybe the dust hasn't settled much. I'm starting to look. We can get a short in here. Another entry. Here's looking to be a possible trade. Let's put it up decent amount. Let's put it up above these guys here. $8 is fine. And the last time we were there was in August 2020. August on the day. That's on the day. That's why. August 4 months ago. Okay, 4 months ago is that price, and I think that's going to hold. And because we're not out of the war yet, I think it's possibly a downside. Let's have a look at the 4 hour. Let's have a look at the weekly. Let's have a look at the 1 hour. Let's look at the 15-minute. Maybe wait for a few minutes. It might still get up there. Wait for a few minutes, but if it pokes its head up there, it'll change your mind. If this can hold and come off, which I hope it's going to do in the next hour, we've got a sell on our hands here. I think there's a good chance getting on here. So remind me to come back to that one. MSFT.
Roger, the other one that was quite interesting is Love. It jumped also the stop loss.
Yeah, but you should all have modified, so you should be fine. There shouldn't be anybody in this trading room who's lost on Love. Did you modify?
Yeah, I've modified and it jumped it because it started much higher. So
oh, I see what you mean. So it stopped you out, but the stop loss is a higher stop loss than you'd say. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you lose on it?
Yeah, the same, yeah.
Did you lose on it or not much?
I lost not much, but some. No profits.
Okay, no profits. Okay, but at least what more damage limitation. Okay, some of the other guys might have been stopped out in a profit earlier on. Okay, but there's a classic example I'm talking about. Good. So you guys are getting this. Just wait as Microsoft's going up a bit more. I think it's a possibility of shorts lining up here. So we'll come back to that. Meta, I think let's leave that alone for the time being. Technical damage being done. There's nothing there, so leave that. So there it is. If you want to hold it and try and come back, maybe. Go to the NAS again. It's shot up to 1218. It's trying to pull back. I personally think 11.5, 12 is the sort of range, plus minus. Not exactly. Please, goodness gracious, guys. Might be 11.4, 12.1, but round about the 11.5, 12 mark, still in the range. We get a bit of euphoria. Morocco's just won the World Cup. And then we wake up a few days later, Moroccans are still in financial crap. You know what I'm saying? Same principle. We wake up a few days later and suddenly say, oh, it's all very nice, but still the debt is still sitting there. You get it? So we wait for a bargain and we still sell it down. So I think it's going to start coming off again. We might have got something at OXY on the jump. Yes, the OXY, I thought so. Even though oil hadn't gone up much, we're sheep people, unfortunately. Can we go along with it with the herd? You know what I mean? And so Oxy has been carried up with the old, what you call it, the excitement with it, even though oil hasn't gone up much, still below 80, I think. So yeah, that's gone up a bit. And even went up to this area here just now on opening. So yeah, if you still see upside in oil, hold on. If you don't, you want to take profit, it's up to you. But we'll see. Difficult to call at this moment. Okay. Risky buy, good question. Just to be fair, get the pound GBP USD. Yeah, again, no surprise there. Weak dollar jump on the pound, 1.24. I think that's going to hold. I'm looking for a sell on that one. I'm going to wait there. There you are. So the week now. I'm going to wait before, just till it can break below the weekly 50. Get a bit of motion. Doesn't have to break exactly below that, but I want to see a little bit of motion coming down. Try the 1 hour. Start to try. Is 24 going to hold? I think it will, but maybe give it more time. We've got plenty of downside to play with. Let's not get too impatient. Okay, so I think we'll get some downside there, but not a daft question, Brady. Either a quick learner, we've been doing it for a while. You come up with some interesting stuff here. Yeah, I think it's coming into that situation as well. Yeah, daily, bang on there. It's seen supported. I don't see on the DXY any recovery yet on the dollar. So yes, I see the sell. Yes, I'm going to wait a little bit. Bit more confirmation. The market's only been open 9 minutes. It might get a resounding another move down. More emotional, factual, so be it. But even if emotion moves down, it moves down. So keep an eye on this one, number one, GBP USD, number two, or vice versa. Keep an eye on those two. And Microsoft, these for buys, Microsoft will sell. Give it a little bit moment. It might not happen in the next hour, but I think we've got a possibility, a couple of buys there and a sell on the other one. I think it's a little bit over risky at the moment. But if you're seriously jump out an aircraft without a parachute type of a guy, you can try it out now. So it's the new guys all coming fast and furious. When things like this come out, you rev up a bit. You know what I'm saying? Looks like we missed $1 round. Looks like it's moving back up again. Sorry about that. But I just took a more conservative stance on it. And this time, maybe we haven't missed out. Pretty bigger move than I thought. Never mind, anyway. But whoever called that English Gerard, yeah. I gave the reason. I chickened out a little bit. Oh, I chickened out now. I thought it was the right decision at the time. But now, of course, in hindsight, maybe I did chicken out. That round is so damn weak. You know, it's so weak. Even bouncing now with a DXY below 104. So you can imagine that dollar starts to strengthen. 18 is going to be on the cards. Hey, Oxy's still going up. So there you are. Maybe you can look to there. This one, maybe put your stop up or something, reduce risk, get to entry or something. Looks like that might be profitable. BA is just a nightmare. But even that's coming off a bit. Baba, holding on to our entry, coming off a little bit. So that's not a nightmare. We got in again around about 92.60 mark, can't remember. It was 92 something or other anyway. So that might come right. Bit of damage limitation. Is Meta coming? I'm thinking of finding one else here. Mentioned it. No, we might be a problem there. Don't know what to call on that one. We had to hold along. I just can't make that call. But I think Microsoft, if we can hold this area here, 263 and come off, I think we can get a sell on here. Okay. Just remember, guys, this is a good time to be learning. If you get through this period, the rest is easy. This is the most difficult period I've had in my trading time, and I've been around a bit. So if you can get ahead and sort of, let's say you're 10 rand up or 50 rand down, or, not that much down or whatever, and you're in a few trades, you're doing pretty damn well. This is tough as it gets. This is when you learn, because anyone can learn when it's easy. This is when you really learn. Anna Marie, sorry about that. GR30 sell went totally against me. Yeah, well, I explained it would do. Oh, hang on. No, it wouldn't do. What were you a sell? If you're a sell, it would have done, yeah. Well, clearly, remember, and I've said this morning, I've said it many times, in fact, the world's markets follow America. So if you're going to see a jump in the Nasdaq down the S&P, you can see a jump in the Hang Seng, the DAX, the FTSE, the Caparon, whatever. You get the idea. So it would have done. Clearly, that's why you're in the trading to find out why. Say it would against you, it would have done. If it hadn't gone down, then I'd have to do some serious Googling courses and thinking, because that would have made no sense. I would not have known that. But no, so it would have done. Yeah, that's fair enough. Main thing you're learning here, hopefully, but not overdoing it, is getting the knowledge to see that I'm saying it beforehand, what's happening, and it's bearing out. So it hopefully gives me some credibility, hopefully gives some trust, which means now you can learn from it. Because Mark's with us, we talked about some which asked not to mention, say, yeah, they talk a lot, but somewhat limiting in what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Okay, moving on from that, I want to go back to, you'd ask me a tough question there. I'll come back to that, Anna Marie, but the trade comes first, as you know. What's it doing? What's it doing with 15? You see, the sellers are coming back in again. That's why I use a 15-minute. You understand, guys? Quickly check the 15-minute. Are we getting green, 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 green? No, goes up. Sellers are coming in. I think you're going to risk missing out. That's my disclaimer. Sorry if you're going to miss out, but I personally am going to sit and wait that out. Okay. Because I know the emotions. You want to make some sort of go of it. You're going to take a deep, deep breath and say, just hang fire for a couple of seconds. You might only make 9 instead of 12 by holding back, but rather that than you lose another 12 on the bounce of the 10 you just previously lost on that movement. Then you're going to be seriously pissed off. So maybe just hang 5 and maybe get a bit more confirmation, even if it results in smaller profit, but the profit will still be there. Okay, that's my thinking anyway. What's that question? Forgot what was there about Anne-Marie there. Well, actually, okay, the Fed. Like I said, most of the wind.
Roger, my apologies again. I'm really sorry to be such a pain. I suggest that guys do modify the stop loss on the Euro NSD.
I did. I said, yeah. I did. I told them that. I told them a few minutes ago. Go back. Okay. I'll do it again because you missed it. Somebody else's might have. Absolutely. It's gone down even further. Well, I said modify to 164.30. I see you a step ahead of the game. I see what you're on about now. We understood that. We're going to the next step. I said keep an eye. If it goes down further, break 164 and modify again. Absolutely. Can modify it to. It might pop up and tap that again, but I want no. Right, modify it to around 1.64. It might come stop you up. You made 90 pips profit. I think you'll be quite happy with that. So at the moment, you're over 100 pips in profit. I would suggest, make it 1.64. If it starts getting up to, let's say, 163.90, maybe bank half your position, unless you've got one micro, obviously, half your position, and then leave your stop. You've stopped out, so be it. If it comes off, you banked half at 163.90, and the other half you can let it run. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Sorry, thanks, Roger. Appreciate it.
You got that? Okay, you got what I mean by that. Hope the other guys have got that as well. Yeah, I see Brent's a bit more upside, Mr. Loop. I'm happy to hold on to that one. Okay, no, you must interrupt. That's what I want you guys to do, because that's important. Don't apologize for interrupting. People, don't apologize when they should be, and apologize when they shouldn't be. Now, that's what value, that's added value. That's what we want to hear. Brilliant. Now, it's just when you get annoyed is when people say, hang on a minute, it's something wrong with your bloody company. It won't let me trade. You got 50 rand in your account. Well, you know what I mean? That's silly. Should we leave it at that? Okay, right. The Fed. Okay, now I think, quite frankly, the CPI has done Mr. Jerome Powell a massive favor. You know, I personally think he's now going to go 0.5%. Most people are going to think about that. So his only sweat tomorrow is the Q&A session where guys try to trip him up. You know what I'm saying? But he's fairly seasoned now. He's in his second term. He can handle that better now. He's more experienced, and he'll make the same sort of honest but fairly bland, sit on the fence, extremely diplomatic remarks, because he knows a word out of context will knock $1 million or add $1 million to the market in a second. So you understand that kind of responsibility. Okay, very, 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 very powerful. So I personally think you're going to get some moving around, but the moving has been set. The train's been set in motion by the CPI, which we just had. That's the big one. I think it's going to be a movement, but that's going to, I think, more consolidation, unless he says something, which I don't think he will do, wildly different. Does that sort of make sense, Anna Marie? Yeah, yeah, basically, yeah. It's just not soft. As long as we're on the same wavelength, because most of fights and screaming are lost in translation. Might speak the same language, but misinterpreting of the kind of way it speaks, if you like. But yeah, that to me, the CPI was the critical one. I think it's going to follow on from there. And my thinking is it's going to jump around the Q&A. He's going to say 0.5%, be a bit of movement. The Q&A will jumping around afterwards, and it'll settle down in a specific direction. However, I think that's going to be short-lived to the upside before the downside kicks in again. We're a long way out of this big dead hole that we're in worldwide. Okay, so it's big, but this was a biggie. That's why I mentioned so much this morning. Okay, right. Okay, yeah. So move your stop, like I mentioned. It's tried to pop up, but it's not happening, which is good because you're shorted. Oh, I'm 7 or 15 minutes, slightly different. But yeah, quite right. Get your stops around figure, and maybe if it gets to 90, maybe half your position, bank half, and if you stopped out with the other half of 64, so be it. You made a lovely profit. If, however, it continues down from there, you're only half on board. I get that, but at least you're still on board. Okay, but is a few profit takers kicking it there? Okay, bear that in mind. If you think, sod it, I'll take the profit. What the hell? Nothing wrong with that either. You might actually do that yourself. Look at it. Because I think it's going to have a little bit of a bounce here. So I've decided to take it because I can't keep an eye on it too much. So I just get out. If I miss out, it doesn't matter. I'm just taking the bloody thing. Okay, where were we? Yeah. Let's have a re-look at your meta. Is anything happening there? Let's look at NAS. That'll probably give a quicker indication. Now it's getting back up again. Oh, shit. Maybe you should look to take it. I can't make that call. Leave it in your hands there. Might come down. A 15-minute jump again. Might come down. Difficult to call. We'll see. Microsoft, which I want a short, we can get it. Just make sure the weekly seems to be holding it. Popped up here just now. As I was chatting to you guys, it seems to be coming off. Maybe just wait a bit more. Here's a possibility of short, I think. Okay. All right. Anything else you guys want to look at? See that. Just wait on for this. And look at the pound as well. Yeah, wait on. Wait on, guys, wait on. Anything else you want to look at? Remember, I just said about globalization, we've been talking about it, and they're all interlinked, so it affects all of them different ways, and not always ways you can sort of fathom either, I might add. But beautifully illustrates this, how fundamentals do have such an impact, and often not taught. Brent. Well, it's got to our whatchamacallit, our TP by the look of it. It's got to get there. Remember, on the bid, 80 on the long. It's no good getting to 80 on the ask. You won't hit your TP. Sometimes people are just have a moment on this. People say hit the 80 and I'm still in it. And why was my TP click in? Hit your 80 on the bid on the buy, but on the long you get out on the bid. So if that got to 79.96, and that got to 80, the line the chart show 80 comes off, you're still in, because this has got to hit your TP because you got in on the long. If you're going short, that has got to hit your TP, not that one, even though that might represent the line of the chart. Bear that in mind. Take count of the spread when you put your TP in. It's not very wide, but you've just got to be aware of it. All right. Yeah, it's still going up. So a lot of guys can hit your TP on that nice little Brent punt we did, so done very nicely. Next question, should we go in again? Let's see why not. So I'm going to give you a major reason why not. Cluck, bloody cluck. I'm scared. I'm scared. I think it's going to go up further. I think it's going to go on the daily to 81 bucks. If that's taken out, I think it's a good chance. I'm not sure, Mark, you with us, it's going to go back to 97. I'm extremely, extremely doubtful about that. Sorry to give you the bad news, but I think overall, it's a good chance of getting back at least to there and certain to those sort of levels here. Whether I want to trade it up again, I'm not sure. Might risk missing it, but maybe get a pull back to buy it. Okay. But anyway, let's just celebrate the fact we got that trade right. Okay, let's hit the TP. And I got two smiles there, so I got a feeling Mr. Luke was in it. And Mr. Luke, just a TP might go, oh, way, yo, am I impressed or what? Most people just so relieved to be able to take profit, they don't want to do it. It's a psychological thing. No, I've got to go through this stress again. I'm still on board. Well, bloody done. You're riding the winner. It's amazing how stressful it is to ride the winner. I think more than the loser. You sit there and hope and leave it alone, forget about it, hope it comes right. The winner, it might take away for you. It's far more stressful holding on to the winner. You're so pleased at the TP. At least I'm out the bloody thing. Till the next day, it's 82, 83. Then you're only fed up then. Well, bloody done. I'm impressed. Okay, but just want to clarify, Mark, you did do the buy stop because Anna Marie did for the first time. It came out quite nicely. Look, 83, why not? 83 could well do it. Might get a bit of noise around here. But that's not a major moving average. 83, well, that's a bit of noise there, As a round figure 83, yeah, it could well get to 83. There's a guy who's done this before and got some strong nerves. I like it. Did you get anything out of that buy stop, sell stop in any of those? Aha! That's why I wanted to hear. Hope it's true, eh? Do you know that song by Fleetwood Mac, Tell Me Lies, Tell Me Sweet Little Lies? So I hope that's Tell Me True, something positive. But if that's the case, just made my bloody day. Fantastic. Good. Excellent. So there. maybe try it together next time for the more experienced guys. Next time we get this sort of carry on. Okay, the buy, stop, sell, stop, carry on. Okay, and it's quite a quick, easy way, is it? Once you're on top of it. Yeah, but it's your first time, Anne-Marie. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know the emotions now, but it's your first time. I want to go solo on an aircraft after one lesson. Sorry, but that's not going to happen. Just got to accept it. You've done very well to break that pain barrier in the first place. I think you stop by and say, well bloody done. Pat yourself on the back. Like saying, God, I've only won 50 million. I could have won 60 million. Oh, I'll be happy with the 50 million. No, you did pretty well. Most people are chicken out on that. I'm quite impressed. And there's a supersonic fighter jet. Absolutely. Now, you see, let's go back to Mr. Luke there. I can't pronounce his full name properly, so I like this Mr. Luke. Carry on. He's done what we all forget about, including myself. I'm embarrassed to admit it. Move your sodding TP. The thing's going. We've discussed it the last couple of days. He's been listening, and Brent looks like it's getting a decent recovery. It's a long way to go before it's these heights. There's plenty of potential of upside there. So why get out 80? And then you can go and celebrate. So delay the celebration. Bang it up to 83. Move your stop. So you're in a big win or a good win. What a pleasure to be in that situation. Sorry, my ignorance. What's a Robbie 44? Is it some car of some sort? I've never heard of it. Maybe it's a slang for something that went over my head. Oh, a helicopter. Is that right? Okay, shows my ignorance. Yeah. Well, my little helicopter, well, I'll tell you what, my friend, that's got more status symbol than a smart car. You're an helicopter, hey? And especially in a traffic jam, just lift off and go above them, and you wave down and go like that to them as you're flying over the Ferraris and Lambos stuck in traffic, hey? Where do you think gold is headed? Right. Let's have a look at gold. Tell you right now. Well, as I say, technical damage. Go to the weekly. Broken that as well. I think it's a good chance of getting to round about 1832-ish area. I think it's a chance for another $10 upwards before we get a proper pullback. There you are. So that's a bit of experience, you know, because we've had that before, that figure implanted, and I can see very quickly resistance. So you see, you'll get to that fairly quickly. Yeah, exactly. So remember, the big word is I think, but I don't know. Of course I don't know. We'll never mark if I did. But I think it's a good chance we'll get to 1832 or 1830, around about that level there, across areas, and I think it'll have a bit of a pullback there. Okay. Catch a short down to cover that drawdown. Yeah, sure. Yeah, good chance it'll come back from there. Yeah. As I say, we're not out of the woods yet. There's a lot of fear running around, including myself. Not so much myself, because you know what I mean. But worldwide, there's a lot of fear. Put it that way. So, as I say, amongst euphoria, well, just won the World Cup, fair enough, but the problems are still there when you got over your hangover the next day. You know what I'm saying? Be nice if Morocco win. Hey, that'd be one out for the books. That'll be a big celebration, and I'd be there. trouble to say, the hangover financially the next day is going to be hectic, not for what they spent, because the economy is in a hell of a state there as well. In fact, just went everywhere, in fact, because of government spending on social programs to get them votes, which are not economically sound. You're vilifying the person who produces the money and patting on the back and promoting the guys who spends it. A classic example of extrapolating Greece situation of a few years back. We don't look after the entrepreneurs, look after the bloody bureaucrats, then you're not going to do yourself a big favor, unfortunately. Sorry, bureaucrats out there, but they spend the money from other people earning it. They're not creating it, if you like. You've got to have them, I know, but still, you've got to understand that principle. It's got to come from somewhere. So they couldn't provide it, so they manufacture it. Now it's coming home to roost. So that's it. Manufacturing is what's been had, not of products, but of fiddling money. It's quite shocking if you go and delve into it. The point of irresponsibility of these governments is phenomenal. I'm not talking about South Africa here, I'm talking about worldwide. Incredible. Okay, right. Anything else? Can we look at Microsoft here, or is it too early to call? Start to come off, guys. Is it too early to call? Do you want to take a bit of a risk on this one? I think we've got a chance on it. Put the stop up here. Yeah, maybe do a $9 stop and take it down here. What's that going to be? Yeah, definitely get a risk reward. You don't want to do a short on this one. You should have all taken a profit on Microsoft. So now we've got a chance of maybe another bit of downside. Anyone want to do it? If not, if you doubt, don't do it. When in doubt, stay out. If you want to do it, there's a chance. Just check the 4 out, maybe a bit of comfort zone there. 2:15 minutes are gone to go. I think this is overbought now. I think it's going to come off a bit. Anyone want to join me on this one? Simon Carbuncle, the sound of silence. Let's get to say that's the new South African national anthem, you know? Hello, darkness, my old friend. or the new American one is that one from Greece, eh? We have bills, they're multiplying. Okay, right, well, you obviously worked it out, John. I'm suggesting stop just above there. Yeah, 269, make it 269, 10. Yeah, is that two? Yeah, make it, I don't know what stop you got. Yeah, make it $8 above there. So it's $8 a share as your risk. And take it down to the moving average. See how that goes. I'll put it down actually and just see if we're up that one. 261.50. I'm going to make it $8, like I said, 69.50. What's that moving average? Maybe 240 round figure. Whether it gets there or not, as long as we stopped out in the profit. Let's see how that works out. Okay. Sorry, I'm just going back to something I've just noticed what Mark said there. He said than done. Critical, I mentioned this. I've seen this out so many times. What he said was, I'm resting my win for the day, I think. I'm glad to put the I think in. I've said that many times. You've done well, you're resting on your win, then you know, look at this bloody KO here, or this meter here, or this Netflix here, or $1 here. Done well here, and you start talking stuff in it. Well, it's only profit I made, so I can risk that. And it could go well. I'm on a run now. Maybe I do it to not 2. Never mind what Roger said. He's boring. Maybe go on 4. Make a quick buck here. No, let's do it. And then you do it, and it comes back and bites. You're too ashamed to admit it to the trading room. You're too admit it to your wife, your dog, your dentist, your cat, or whatever. And yeah, so it takes an extreme discipline. I know I've been there. So I'm resting my win for the day. Full stop. added the quick erasure word. You put the but in, but it's like the but's an erasure word. I think is an erasure phrase. It's all psychology, eh? I had a guy, I won't mention his name, he's not on here, it's not fair to mention him. He's a regular trader. And he had a massive run on the NASDAQ. Literally made in 2 or 3 hours about 60% profit on his entire balance. So on the bird said, well done, don't want to be a boring old fart here, but be stop now, don't put it back. I know you're on a high. He says, you're quite right, and to close the computer, which he did do. I checked him about an hour later. He was back on, and he put the lot back. And then he came to me the next day, and he said, oh, Roger, I was such a fool. I didn't listen to you. Yeah, as long as you can control it. I don't you remember the casino going back about 30 years ago, 25 years ago, whatever it was, quite a way back, about 25 years ago, when you used to have it in the homelands when you had casinos, and then when 1995 came, it must have been over 25 years ago, whenever it was, and then they had all these little private casinos budding up all over the joint. You know what I mean? Durban, Joburg, Cape, all over the bloody joint. And I was in there with my fiance at the time, and I was in there since about 8 in the evening till about 3 in the morning. And I made quite a lot of money then. I was up about 5 grand. It was about 1996, it's somewhere about then. And she said to me, God's sake, leave Roger. And the croupier said, last 3 spins, leave Roger. And I didn't. And I put the whole money I made in those last 7 or so hours back in 3 spins. I'd give her a due. She said nothing on the way back. I was staying in Umhlanga Sands at the time. Back to the Umhlanga Sands. I have never known such a drunk for drink, headache, hangover, depression in my life as that next morning. Number 2, stupid. Not the money, because the money was annoying, but the stupidity of it. And that look she gave me, oh, I told you so. She didn't say anything, but God, it was awful to handle. Ouch, I get out. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to do the last 3 spins, yeah, make sure you put in about about 2% of it, just because you can't drag yourself away. And that's how this 24/7 casinos get you. Because I've seen them. I haven't been to casinos for a while. I've been to casino, but not casino like Monty's, but from show or something. But I pop around there, waiting for the show, have a look at them. And you see people start to shake because they know they're over their limits, you know? Yeah, no, I tell you what. Yeah. It was nearly as bad as missing a penalty kick in the World Cup final, I tell you. It was not a pleasant emotion. Slightly exaggerated. That's about as bad as it gets. But yeah, old Sally, yeah, very clever lady. She was an attorney. And yeah, lovely lady, in fact. And, yeah. And if she got on my case, I'd have been pleased, but she didn't say anything, just looked at me. And I'm from 6'3" to 6 inches, 0.3 centimeters in you know, in quite about a few seconds. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, made me point. So let's see how this goes. It might just do well if anyone likes to do it. NAS, anything happening on the NAS yet? It's I think it's peaked, to be honest. It's peaked. Try to move up. Sellers come in. I think it's peaked. You might get some downside. Remember what I said on the bigger macroeconomic front? You might have won the World Cup, my friend, but the problems economically have not gone away. This is a bit of euphoria here. Sorry, Susan, I'm just going to go to Lou a second. Okay, showing this load shedding here. Right, let's have a look. Okay, Anna-Marie, okay, get you tomorrow morning. What's the time now? Didn't have 15 minutes to go. Not sure we're finding more trades. Is Baba coming off? No, it's not. It's not. But anyway, it's only $1 in minus, so it might come off. Okay, Brent's hovering around 80. That's up and down. That's not a problem. CHF JPY, our good friend here. What's happening here? Remember, that's very stable. This might be an opportunity. Might be an opportunity. Okay, let's go back to 15. See what I'm going to show you what I'm thinking here. Yeah, they will do at times like this, NK. You're just starting. For goodness sake, give yourself a break here, my friend. It's not normally, you know, somebody at quiet periods, we discuss things, you ask questions all the time in the world. It's been quite hectic from these fundamentals coming out, and some other guys have been doing it before, wanted some of that information, so I had to go a little bit at that pace for them. But don't worry, you've got many trading rooms to go. You're not going to fly solo after the first couple of times. You made your first step to come here. You've learned probably more since you've been coming here than you would have faffing around, playing around elsewhere, watching YouTube videos or whatever. So stick with it. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be a surgeon after a 3 or 4 day medical course. You get the idea. Stick with it. You'll be fine. Right. I'm sure what I'm thinking here. Came shooting down. So there we are. That's happened. All right. But now it's consolidating with more coming up than down. I still think, despite the euphoria, like I mentioned there, the Swissy is stronger than the yen. It's a stable currency. Yen used to be, with the Swiss, the two most stable in the world, but because of its debt problem, the Swiss has now taken over that mantle. So I do see upside here. I'm going to go to the 1 hour. Little bit, daily, little bit. Well, how far is it here anyway? Plenty of upside potential. Knocked on here, and now it's settling around at this level here. What's the weekly? No problems there. And the support there on the weekly. See where it's support on the weekly. I think we've got to buy here. Where can you put the stop on it below here? It's going to be, yeah, you're going to squeeze it. That's the only problem. The risk reward is going to be a problem. 77 compared to, that's going to be a problem. I'm not sure. We might just get just below 1.5. It's going to be a bit of a squeeze. Let's see what we got here. That's your problem. Pity. The only way around it is you got to aim up here if you want to do it. And the way you justify doing it to make it 148 is how many into the TP anyway. And like Mr. Luke did, you can always modify your TP if you want. So you can modify your stop loss and your TP. That would do it, but you've got to take that out. But if it gets there and comes off and you've only banked 90 pips, I don't think you're going to be completely fed up, are you? Okay. So, yeah, I see the possibility of that one. I'm going to back the Swiss franc. Quite like the look of this trade. Anyone like it? See the dollar start to recover a little bit. Okay. Anyone else like it? Anyone like it other than Swanboard? R&R, I've got it up here, finally. Just wait for you guys to look into it and see if we get a nice closing trade. I was looking to, I think the Euro NZD at 164 might have hit you out in the profit and bounced back up again. Happens. Good stuff, Pete. Good stuff. Get through these fundamentals and only strengthen your trading expertise going forward. Good stuff. What do you think, Farney? Anybody else like they'll do it? Okay. 164, 110, 28, and 145. Okay, I've got it written down there now. That is the position size calculator. I've got it up there now. Okay, Mark, I get that. I get that, no problem. So are we on the same page here, Mr. Manala? That is the position size calculator. If you want to know where to get it, it's a different story. Quite simple. Go to the live chat on the portal or on the Quick Trade website, the SMC website. Go to tech support, ask them to download it onto your computer, laptop. If you don't have one, you've got to find one somewhere on the phone in the App Store. But if you can get a laptop, make life a lot easier for you in trading, right tools for the job. So yeah, just what I'm saying is you get it from tech support in the live chat if you haven't. But there it is in front of your screen. Got it. Good stuff. Okay, I've done a lot of chit chats. Going to just quickly do a couple of things in your guide. I think I forgot earlier on with all the rushing around. Just going to copy a couple of things for you. I want you guys who haven't got it, please keep it, save it, and minimize it and keep an eye on it. That is the dollar index. Very, very important, as you found out today, how important that is. And the economic fundamentals, again, very important. Copy, paste. There we are. So yeah, so where was I? Yeah, so that's those two. So if you haven't got them, please have them. We refer to it a heck of a lot in the trading room because it's so important. And you can clearly see how important those fundamentals are. You need to keep an eye on them. Don't expect to be a captain of the ship in 5 seconds, but we want to speed up getting towards that. Okay, and that's why we get these things to speed up that journey. It took me a long time of fapping around on my own to work this a lot out. Okay, let's see how this works out. Anyway, see the 146 holds and moves on. And the happening gold come off a bit. Thought it might get a bit higher, but anyway, seems to be coming off for the moment. But the ups and downs you can't predict. At least Microsoft's coming off a bit, those who took it. So we'll see. Getting a bit worried about gold now, he's just left. Because if the NASDAQ starts coming off and the dollar starts to strengthen, I think this is going to come off. I'm not sure it's going to get to 1830 now. Anyway, leave it alone for now. I'll have another look tomorrow.
I see the NAS is busy coming off quite quickly.
Yeah. I said before, Fadi, you know, I mean, you've just won the World Cup and you're full of euphoria, and then you settle down, cool down a bit and say, yeah, there's still a lot of problems out there. But anyway. Okay. Are you still in your meter? Or meta, or how it's pronounced?
No. I got knocked there as well. That jump there. You see that if you go back, that jump completely out. My stop loss was on 120.
Oh, okay, you're not bad. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, we can thank Mr. CPI for that. I hate to say it, Mark, I think gold's going to start coming off now. If this continues down and the dollar can test what the dollar's doing, see, I've got it minimized on the other screen. Not much, going up a little bit. Might come off a bit. Anyway, too difficult to call at the moment. It's still a lot of settling down after that big movement. But yeah. Anyway, another interesting evening tomorrow, and then take it from there. Okay.
Sorry, I missed the conversation on Brent. Did you re-enter?
No.
Okay.
No, I said I'd rather buy a pullback. I still see the upside, but you just missed a loop there. Modified his stop to 83, not his stop, his TP to 83, and his stop loss. So he's hanging in there. He's going to make a profit either way. And I thought it wasn't a bad idea. If you're on board, stay on board. I still see upside, but I wouldn't be entering now. To enter this again, I might miss it, but I'm going to try and see if I can get a better price for another move back up again.
Just a last question from my side. The S&P, it seems that it's going down and it's going to cover that gap. Do you think it's good for a short?
About that. Thank you. Yes, I do. Forgot about that one. It's the biggest of the lot, the S&P, but the Nasdaq seem to take all the sexy sort of attention. But this is the big one. There's 500 comes, including all those big ones on the tech stocks. You know, yeah, I do. Pity. I didn't notice earlier on. What a pity. 78 pips down. I do. Ooh, whoa. So you got to put the stop there. I just don't see the continuation of that pattern. See, it's below here as well. Yeah, it's gone back down there. This held. I do. It's come down here. I do. I'm a little bit worried about Powell tomorrow. I did mention, I think most of the thunder's on the CPI, but he might come up with something tomorrow unexpectedly. It's my only worry. But you need to stop a fair whack away. You want to stop about 100 pips away, which is about $10 per micro. It's 10 cents, you know what I mean? So 100 pips is obviously $10 for 0.01, but there's some downside here. No, it's not going to get that. So you're going to aim down here. Good chances coming down there. So you can pick your TP down there if you like, but my more concern is the stop. I do it. If you want to put 100 pip stop, make it 41.46 or 41.50, shall we say. Make it around 41.50 stop. I do see a bit of downside. I just don't think fundamentally we're back in a bull market. Far from it, in fact. So I tend to agree with you, yeah. Might bounce up another 20, I don't know. But I don't think you're going to see full 150 unless something radical happens in a totally change of scenario. And remember, the CPI came out, and they had 0.1% difference than expected. It wasn't a wide gap. I think a little bit of this euphoria movement. So whether you want to wait and get a better price or go in now with a wide stop, because you can't. It might pop up 5, pop down, you don't know. But I agree with the downside. Thanks for pointing it out, yeah.
And you mentioned the TP to what, 3,950?
I think it's getting to 380 in the end. If we get there.
380.
Yeah, I think 3,800, yeah. But if it doesn't get there, it gets to 3.9, you don't care. You just take it, you know what I mean? 3.8 you can aim at, but if it doesn't get there, it gets to 3.9. You're still going to be a happy chappy. I'll put it up for you anyway. It's quite simple.
Okay, no, it's all right. I already took the trade. It's fine. I don't know if anybody else wants to do it.
Yeah, if they do, I'll put the R&R up. Anyone else wants to do it? Yeah, because I want to get to the stage where you know you can put the R&R up yourself. You get an idea, put those in. You can see the point behind it. That's great. That's what we're trying to aim at everyone who's just starting off. Anybody else want to do it or not? Like an auctioneer, going, gone. You took it a bit earlier. Brady's showing us up here, my friend. He's been doing it not so long, this business, and he's showing us up. I'm embarrassed to say. Now I feel like that lady friend Sally looking at me, and I felt such a fool. Bloody hell, you spotted early. You should have told us, Brady. It's all your fault. Hey, we found someone to blame here. We missed out. It's not my fault. It's Brady's fault.
Well, Brady.
Well, bloody done. So he's beaten us to it. Yeah, stuck that up in your ego, Mr. Host. Roger, hold on. Okay, make sure you got stuff above here, though, Brady. Just make sure we're not too tight. Just above.
So Brady got in at a very good entry.
Yeah, it's better than this, and I think it's not a bad area to get in. So better than this, it's got to be good. Yeah, well done. I'll put it down for Brady's sake, but I'll put in these figures down: 50, 40, 50. 40, 50, what I say, 10 bucks about that, 41, 50, 38. As you can see, part of my culture is take the mickey out of myself. Okay, see, he really is on the ball. I must admit, I have to be honest, I'm going to embarrass myself, take the mickey out of myself again. You might enjoy this, Brady. I was in Spain a while back there, a couple of months, well, a few months actually. And I love talking, you might just a guess, but unfortunately, like talking, always a great listener. An artist mate of mine, Martin Delco, the South Africa, and I said to him, how the hell do you know that? And his reply was, well, I listen, you should try it sometime. Oh, talking about putting the guy down.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's my expense, but a good point. So well done, Brady. He's already on it. Did it because he's listening. Wow. Maybe we should try it sometime. Yeah. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, guys. On that note, let's see if we can get some more interesting stuff happening tomorrow morning and take it from there. Okay. Okay, guys, see you tomorrow. Those can make it. And those just beginning, don't get frightened. You'll get there. You're going to stick around. That's the point.